minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
We're live, they tell us, which beats the alternative at the beautiful Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. It's our last program from this wonderful facility for the summer with a very special guest here in hour one. Oh, you're going to love it. I guarantee you're not going to love it as much as me, though. We're just waiting for the camera to get on me in seconds because right out of the gate, the legendary voice of Moose Jaw, Rod Carnie. Carnes joining us here at Western Dodge today. How are you, Carnes?
Yes, good.
You are great. You are ready to talk some sports?
Sure.
The longtime voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. And what's the name of your show now?
Rob Carney in the morning. It's on all 7 Golden West AM radio stations across the province. So we're in Kindersley, Rosetown, Swift Current, Shaunavon, Estevan, Weyburn, and the flagship CHAB Moose Jaw.
We couldn't get out of Moose Jaw without getting the voice of Moose Jaw on Rob Carney for a little over an hour today. I didn't tell you that. You're going to work an hour too. Is that okay?
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Okay. And Darren Moose Dupont will be joining us as well in hour 2 to talk about the variety of things that we have on the docket today, everybody, on a Thursday. It's a very exciting time, and we're going to jump into the quick 6 show topic and the big story, Carnes. Listen, you get to think it's NFL. But we got to start with baseball. I think we got to start with baseball. It was a very entertaining game last night for the Toronto Blue Jays. 5 different batters hit home runs for the Jays as the Jays erased a 5-0 deficit to beat the Cincinnati Reds 13-9 and earn their 42nd comeback win this year. But as the Jays said on their Twitter account, it's their biggest road comeback of the year. George Springer, Vladdy, Addison Barger, Dalton Varsho, and Alejandro Kirk all went deep as Toronto won 2 of 3 in Cincy. Shane Bieber gave up 5 hits and 5 runs in 6 innings. They're off today, heading into New York. Dun, 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 dun. Are you getting the Blue Jays bug? I feel like the last time you were on, I got the sense you're getting the Blue Jays bug.
Well, I like to follow the Blue Jays. I mean, that's all we get on TV in Canada, on Sportsnet.
That's right.
You know, but I'm a Tigers fan. Have been a Tigers fan ever since I was a kid. And Montreal Expos, but you can't really cheer for the Expos anymore, can you?
No, exactly.
But yeah, it's hard not to fall in love with some of those guys on the Blue Jays. What a colorful bunch of characters they are. I like the manager. I like Vladdy. I like Bichette. Varsho, man, what a player he is. I watched the highlights this morning, and 5 different guys hitting home runs. They're for real if they can solve their bullpen problems, right?
Well, I guess. What do we say in hockey? Outscore your problems? I guess they can outscore their problems. Come playoff time, probably not. But I wanted to open with that because when the last time you were on, which was about a month ago?
Yeah.
I said, what is this evoking for you? And you said opening day, 1977. For me, it's evoking memories of 92, 93. But all of the countries tuned in. I've not seen the ratings. Have you?
No,
I don't even know where to look to get them.
No, me either.
To be honest, but they got to be boffo across this country. And the one thing that I noticed last night about watching the Blue Jays game is these games they're fun, and the players are having fun. Everything around it seems very upbeat. I like the vibe of what the Jays got right now.
Yeah, me too. And they seem to be having fun, like in the dugout. After somebody hits a home run, they got the home run jacket back.
Yeah.
And they seem to be having a blast, and they just seem to be a tight-knit group, and I think that's what you need to be a championship team for sure. I've never been to a Blue Jays game in person, although I've been to a couple of Major League Baseball games. I've been to the new Yankee Stadium, so the Yankees and the Orioles several years ago. The main reason for that trip was Eric Clapton's Guitar Festival at MSG, but there was a ball game at the same time, so of course we went. The next time we went to New York, my friend and I, again to see Eric Clapton and his 70th birthday party show at MSG. We went to a Mets game, and that was fabulous. Citi Field with the jets flying over center field. Like every 3 minutes, there's a jet flying out of, I think it's LaGuardia Airport, which is adjacent to
Queens.
Citi Field.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching the airplanes, I was watching the baseball game, and the food at Yankee Stadium. I thought, well, I'm going to have a hot dog and a beer, right? Well, no, they've got food from around the world there. I ended up having sushi and noodles from a Japanese place and a beer. And I was a little bummed out when I first got there. This is 2013, and the beers were, I think, $11.
Oh, my God.
$11 for a beer. Oh, no, they're 20 ounces. It was great. We had a blast. But to my point, being at a ball game in person is so much better than watching on TV. I mean, I love watching ball on TV, but being there in person and seeing what goes on where the cameras aren't showing, right? The people in the stands that the cameras don't show, and the concession workers and the people slinging the hot dogs. Just so much fun, just a great experience.
Well, especially with the replays that they have now too. It's like watching it on television, but you're in the venue.
Sure.
And it's funny because Carnes said a few times this summer he's got a lot of stories to tell, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what those might be. There's one. But for the Blue Jays fans, of course, Game Plus Television is anchored out of Toronto. We got a lot of Blue Jays fans watching in Toronto. My very first Rough Riders road trip to Toronto was 1999. That was my first season as voice of the Riders. And, of course, they played in Skydome. It was known at Skydome at the time. I filled a thermos of coffee the morning of the game, Carnes. We were staying in the Skydome Hotel, which was really cool. And I went through the whole facility. Took me a few hours, like on my own. If you know me at all, I'm not going to ask for a tour. And that was cool to get in a Skydome. You got to that's a bucket list thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm shocked you haven't done that.
I've been in Toronto, but just at the airport. on the way to New York and back. That's it. I've never gone to the Sky Dome, the Rogers Center, as they call it now.
Do you have a desire?
Yeah, sure. I'd go. If somebody offered me some air miles.
Of course. Well, that's literally, we've been watching Blue Jays games since 1977, and that is the one place that you really gotta go. So that we're opening segment talking Blue Jays baseball and another win last night. They're off today, and then they head to New York. If you spent that time in New York, and we have a minute and a half here, Carnes, but what was your takeaway in New York City?
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Exciting. I mean, it's 24 hours a day, man. Not every place is 24 hours a day, but you can find places that operate 24 hours a day. And exciting. I mean, shopping at Macy's. That's cool. We spent a whole day there. After we found the bar at Macy's, the shopping was over. Who knew? Macy's has a bar? What?
Oh, yeah. And 5 floors.
Oh, yeah. Just fabulous. And old school escalators and sitting rooms where they used to have ashtrays in the washrooms. You know, it was like I was stepped back into the 1950s. It was a little overwhelming. We enjoyed it. We had something to do every day. But at the end of the day, you don't see the sunshine in downtown Manhattan.
All buildings.
Yeah, it's just all buildings everywhere.
Prairie dog here.
Yeah. So when we
just like me,
when we took off to come home, I went, oh, okay, now I can see things.
Yeah, that's the prairie dog coming out in you. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to get his stories, and you were just getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up with the voice of Moose Jaw, Rob Carnie. Get the Western Dodge text line rolling, everybody, 902-518-3033. We'll be back in a flash. We're going to be talking CFL, NFL. We have some hockey news today, World Junior news today. Lots of fun here at Western Dodge and Moose Jaw. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television and streaming.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Come in. Enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
RP show continues, everybody. Live from Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. They also bring you our text line 902-518-3033. Just a couple more days left in this fantastic city, and it's our last day here at Western Dodge before packing up and heading back south for the winter. I should tell you, Carnes, I'll get you right up on that mic if you don't mind. So we're moving on. The voice of Moose Jaw, Rob Carnie, is with us. Point two of the Quick Six Show topics. The NFL is back, baby. The 2025 season kicks off tonight with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles will unveil their championship banner before the game. They beat Kansas City 40-22 in last year's Super Bowl in New Orleans. And Rob Carney, I was reading up on the game before because my Cowboys are playing in it. The Eagles aren't even going to come out onto the field for the banner raising.
Why not?
That's last year. It's a new year.
It's for the fans.
That's what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. I was shocked when I read that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't think that's good.
I don't either. Because it's a lot of the same cast is back. Head coach Nick Sirianni,
sure.
Quarterback Jalen Hurts, running back Saquon Barkley. The band is back together. And out of all the things with this game, and by the way, the Eagles are favored by 8.5, that was one that really surprised me. But we are realizing this is a different era in sports, aren't we?
Yeah.
With how they approach things.
Yeah, no kidding. I think the Cowboys are going to win tonight. I really do. I really do. With all the with all the hype and with the surrounding the Eagles and the defending champs and all the controversy surrounding the Cowboys, I just think the Cowboys are going to come out knocking heads, and I think they're going to win. And I think the Chargers are going to beat the Chiefs tomorrow night too.
You know, it's funny you say that, Carnes, because our poll question today, which is brought to you by EMJ Marketing, is what's America's game of the week? And the options are tonight, Cowboys-Eagles, Friday's game in Brazil, Chiefs-Chargers, or the Sunday nighter, Bills-Ravens, or other. And actually running away with it is the Sunday night game. The Bills and the Ravens, two AFC front runners to win that conference and go to the Super Bowl. But are you saying that? Did you say the Chiefs Chargers is the game of the week for you?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's going to be a great game, and I like the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, back to a story for a second. Rob Carney was the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. What did we establish on the air with them? 84-01, did you say?
Yeah, 86-87 was my first year.
Okay.
Bryn Griffiths was the voice, and I did color with Bryn.
Okay.
And then continued through 2001.
So in 01 when he left, I said, Carnes, we're going to miss you in the dub. And you're like, don't worry about me. I'm not going to miss you. He goes, I'm going to enjoy watching NFL on Sundays. And clearly that's a very big part of your winter, your fall and winter is the NFL.
I love watching football. And I've told you before, any football game comes on TV, I'll watch it. As long as I got $5 on it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not a big, shouldn't say I'm not a big fan of college football because I enjoy watching it. But I can't tell you who's playing for who. I don't know all the players. I might know a handful of them. But if I see a game's coming on TV and it's, and I take a look at the odds, I'll go put a $5 bill on it and enjoy watching
You like it, eh?
Yeah, I love football. And like I said before, too, I don't get carried away with the betting either. It's $5 here and it's $5 there. But just to get those sweaty palms and get a little anxiety in my living room, in my
why not,
chair,
right?
And watch the football game. It's a lot of fun.
I think you're going to lose $5 tonight. I said the Eagles are favored by 8.5, but I don't. Do you have a team? Did I ask you that? Who's your team?
Yeah, I told you last time. I'm a bandwagon jumper for sure. But when I was a kid, we didn't have cable TV when I was a kid.
Nor did I. Yeah.
So we got the Minnesota Vikings on CTV after the CFL season was done. And sometimes we get a Denver Broncos game. So my dad cheered for the Vikings and the Broncos, and so did I. But then once we got the cable TV and I started watching that, I became a Raiders fan. And I loved Kenny Stabler and Jim Plunkett.
The Snake. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cliff Branch and Fred Biletnikoff, you know. I really love those guys. The Stickum. Hayes was the defensive back. He and Biletnikoff like set the world record for the amount of stickum they put on their hands. Eventually that got outlawed, that the stickum did, right? But yeah, so I was a Raiders fan, but it's been tough to be a Raiders fan the last few years.
Well, I would have had in the poll Raiders-Patriots as an option for game of the week, but there's just too many other tantalizing games. But that one has me oddly intrigued. Pete Carroll with the Raiders, Mike Vrabel with the Patriots. It's in New England, but neither team made the playoffs last year. That's not a tantalizing matchup, really, compared to some of these other ones. And by the way, from the audience, we've got a lot here that have come in with comments. Jenna's watching in Southern California, says Dak has lots to play for tonight. Today is his mom's birthday.
Oh.
It's why Dak wears number 4. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I picked Chiefs Chargers for the game of the week because I'm a fan of Patrick Mahomes. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Chargers are average, living off that reputation of their head coach. Ryan in upstate New York says, good day, Rod Squad. Good day to you. You've jumped in at a good time, Ryan. We're talking NFL. But maybe it's a good thing for you to not have a team, because me being a Cowboys fan, I don't bet, period. But if I did, I would not bet on my team because my head is in a fog when it comes to your team.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to win tonight. I think we're going to get rolled tonight.
Do
Why do you think the Cowboys are going to win tonight?
I just think they're going to surprise everybody.
Continue.
Dak's good.
Oh, he is very good. He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL,
Yeah.
unjustifiably.
Yeah.
Have you been following the drama that's been going on in camp?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
You don't think that affects the team?
Oh, yeah, I think it does. But I think it might have a positive effect on the guys that are there, saying, hey, what about me? I'm a good player, you know? And I just think all the hype with the Eagles or the defending champs, I think the Cowboys are just going to come out firing on all cylinders.
Well, I hope you're right. You must have been reading my diary. You've been looking at my notes here, Carnes, because there is a narrative. I was watching the NFL Network the other night, their season preview. You must watch NFL Network a bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
And they were talking about Micah Parsons and this narrative coming out of Dallas that, there's some guys not that upset that Parsons is gone. Maybe he wasn't the best team guy, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've been in this media business far too long. I don't believe that. I believe that's a cooked up narrative. Now that he's gone, let's trample on him. I'm sure you've seen that happen in sports.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we never heard anything bad about Micah Parsons till now. All of a sudden, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Bad guy with a lot of money in his jeans. Hey?
When we sat and talked about who won that trade, Jim Barker was on here on Friday and said Micah Parsons won that trade.
Yeah, there you go.
Not Green Bay. Probably Green Bay, to be honest, but. These are some of the options for games of the week, everybody. Jenna in Southern California says the Dallas Cowboys offense will be explosive and the defense will be in the correct spot for turnovers and big stops. Hey, I hope you're right, which, by the way, we're going to be watching the game at Pump Jacks in Regina, Pump Jacks Cathedral, Ultimate Fan Zone putting up prizing. Thank you, Billy, Cowboys and Eagles wear.
Don't you love Billy?
He's the best guy.
He's the best.
We're so happy to have him on board with us. Promoting the show, just a great Regina business. It's what I say Jersey City used to be. You go to Ultimate Fan Zone, everything you want is there.
Everything. And if it's not, he'll get it for you.
He'll get it for you. But the other thing is, everybody orders online these days.
Mm-hmm.
I like a store that I can actually maybe try something on, put on a hat if I want to.
And have a chin wag with Billy.
And have it right? He's not afraid to talk sports.
No.
At Ultimate Fan Zone. So there's a little bit of our NFL discussion. As we continue in the warm-up, everybody, we move on to CFL Week 14. I don't know. Why don't we do our picks for Pump Jacks? We got Moose coming on next hour, but Carnes, you're not afraid to make some picks of CFL games, I don't think.
I know the CFL a lot better than I know the NFL, that's for sure.
Okay, well, I got the odds here from Cool Bet Canada, and Week 14 kicks off Friday night. The BC Lions are at Ottawa, and I don't think we have time in this segment to get through them all, but that's fine. We'll roll it over into the next if we have to. BC Lions at Ottawa. The Lions are favored by 4. I'm not going to ask you what the point spread, but straight up, who wins that game?
I think BC wins, but I think it'll be close. I really do. I think Ottawa's I think they're a better team than their record shows.
I'm going to take, I've got C down as Carnes because R wouldn't work real good. Rod and Rob on the air. I'll take Ottawa because I'm a sucker for Bob Dice.
Oh, I love Bob Dice. Hey?
I'm a sucker for Bob Dice.
And you know him.
Yeah, very well.
I don't know him.
First-class guy, man.
I just know him from watching him coach and watching him on television, watching the way he does interviews and watching the way he interacts with his players. And I think, man, that's a player's coach.
It's not that BC. It's not that I don't like them or what they got going on, or their Buck Pierce is really cool too. Luke Wilson this morning tweeted or last night for the CFL on TSN that Nathan Rourke is exceptional and should be in the NFL. And he just said, hey, no judging, no bias. He goes, I'm watching film here, and this guy should be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nathan Rourke. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think he looked good in the NFL. Yeah, why do Canadians get such a raw deal south of the border? Canadian quarterbacks get a raw deal in the CFL too. But
yes.
He's a talented guy. He's a next level quarterback.
Well, it's a fun debate, and Bob Irving was on here a couple of weeks ago, and he said that guy Nathan Rourke is the best player in the CFL. And we turned that into a meme, put it on our social media, and of course people had the balls to challenge Knuckles on that. But that's the era of life where we live in now. You can't say anything without people jumping on you. But Knuckles said the same thing as you. Is he the best in the CFL? Shoot. People talking about Vernon Adams in Calgary now for the MVP. It's nice that we actually have some choices.
Yeah. And it's good people are talking about it.
Yeah.
It's good people are talking about it because there are some places in the CFL that aren't attracting the fans. Toronto, for example.
Which is not new. It's funny because John Bender was on here with us yesterday, CFL alum, NCAA alum, and he said Toronto a couple of times. He says Toronto's not a great football city. We made that into a meme. That pissed everybody off. As a matter of fact, I had one former Argos coach text me and go, who the hell's John Bender to talk about football in Toronto? I'm like, oh my, what did I say about people getting worked up these days?
Yeah.
It didn't take long, but John Bender went on to say it's not just about the Argos. I forgot that they canceled the Bills series because of lack of interest.
I forgot about that too.
I remember that the series, I don't remember that they canceled it early.
Yeah.
It was kind of just swept under the rug.
Yeah. I just love the CFL so much. It just concerns me when I see all those empty seats in Toronto. And I mean, I go back, like I just love the CFL. I've told you that before. I saw at old Taylor Field. I was so excited. The Toronto Argonauts came to town when Chuck Ely had been traded from Hamilton to Toronto. So there's Chuck Ely as the quarterback. Anthony Davis is the tailback. Neil Lumsden is blocking for him in the backfield. And they're wearing their full baby blues at Taylor Field. And the image is it's still in my mind. Oh man. I saw a lot of games at Taylor Field over the years. One, I think it was my first CFL game. And I think it was before the family moved from Regina to Moose Jaw. But I remember sitting in the corner of the end zone. There weren't many end zone seats back then.
Yep.
But we were sitting in the corner, and I think I was with my big brother. And it was the Hamilton Tiger Cats in town. And Chuck Ely was a quarterback. It might have been 72. Might have been the year they beat the Riders in the Grey Cup, actually, in 72. Chuck Ely's a quarterback. Garnie Henley catches a touchdown pass right in front of me. Like, Anthony Hopkins was the tailback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Like, I could go on.
You do love the CFL.
I love the CFL.
Carn said he had stories, and we haven't even got to hockey yet. Don't disappoint me on that. You got some, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming. Rob Carnie with us, the voice of Moose Jaw for many seasons, the voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors, and I never quite figured out, I haven't got to the bottom of this, why I got so much crap for things I said, and you never, ever did. You're just this Teflon guy. Les Lazaruk and I, the Blades guy, discussed. Les had to get a police escort out of PA, but you've never had to deal with this stuff. What is it?
Well,
people just love you.
I had some rednecks kind of get in my way in Swift Current one night.
Haven't we all, though? That's if you didn't, there'd be a problem. I'd be asking you what was wrong with you. If you did. Oh, my God. I had literally had to get a police escort out of Swift Current. Did the guy have a sheepskin coat and a big beard?
No.
The guy that came after me did in Swift Current. Rob Carnie with us. He's all of hour one into hour two, and as you can see, an absolute broadcasting treasure. 902-518-3033. I haven't even opened up the Western Dodge text line, but I will do that in the break. We're brought to you in part by The Mad Greek for legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites. It's The Mad Greek Eatery, open till 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in. Check out their menu at themadgreekeatery.com. We'll be right back to Western Dodge and Moose Jaw right after this here on Game Plus TV, YouTube, podcast, and 1700 Mission Radio.
country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're live at Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. Rob Carnie with us, the voice of Moose Jaw from CHAB. I notice you don't mind me calling you that.
No, not at all.
You're very honored by it. I like it.
I've earned it.
Right, you absolutely have earned
Thank
it. That's right. And we're going to move on to the other CFL games in a second, plus more NFL games. Darren Moose Dupont coming up in hour 2 from Toronto. You had so much fun with him yesterday. You know him, you love him. Moose will be back in hour 2. But
I love his hair.
Everybody loves his hair.
Oh.
I did the Labor Day Classic golf event on the weekend, and Paul Vide, a former rider, comes up to me and he goes, "What happened to the kid, the Regina kid with the great hair?
Yeah.
He's not on the show much anymore." I said, "We'll get him on, Paul. He's just busy." And before we delve back into those CFL picks, Carnes and I both said we had an issue with Swift Current fans in our days broadcasting junior hockey in the dub. Laverne in Swift Current writes in and he says, "The question is, did Rob Carney put on Charlie Horse's head like RP?" What happened, Carnes, was the mascot's hockey bag was left in a dressing room. I broke into it before a game one night, put on his head, and ran down the hallway and into our dressing room. And I'm like, surprise! Does it sound like something I would do?
Yeah, that's classic.
And then the Broncos never had a problem with it, thank God. Anyways, BC at Ottawa Friday night in the Canadian Football League. Carnes has BC. I got Ottawa. And then in a game that I'm hoping the CFL, or a day the CFL will call Canada's Football Day in Canada, it's a triple header. And I know people are chomping at the bit writing in here to talk about the Banjo Bowl, but there's a game ahead of that. Hamilton at Montreal. The Tiger Cats are favored by 3.5. Hamilton going into Montreal. Who do you like to win that one?
Hamilton covers that easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Hands down.
What makes you say that with so much confidence?
Oh, Levi Mitchell, man. I mean, they've had their ups and downs this season, but Hamilton beats Montreal.
Were you watching the Labor Day Classic in Hamilton?
Yeah. But Hamilton's got him.
I'm teasing you, of course.
Montreal, do they even have a quarterback yet? Are they still with a fourth stringer?
If there's Alouettes fans watching, I would love for you to write in and tell me what you know. I mean, I was telling Carnes in the break that I've got junior hockey fans complaining to me about lack of junior hockey coverage. There is a distinct lack of CFL coverage across this country.
Yeah.
Right? I should tune on TSN and be able to know what's going on across the CFL, and I don't. But I'm pretty sure Davis Alexander won't be playing, nor Macbeth. They're both on the 6 game. That's probably the biggest reason why you're going with Hamilton.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, and you talk about Bo. I'll never cheer for Bo Levi, but it was a hell of an ending in the Hamilton game on Monday, man. And it was not Bo's fault.
No.
You could tell he thought they had it in the barn.
Sure. And I like Arbuckle.
Fatty Arbuckle? How can you not?
I know. Wins a Grey Cup. Like, nobody expected that to happen last fall. I was so happy for it. I don't know the guy, but I'm a fan for sure.
Nick's been on this show a few times, and he is a super, super, super guy. And he and Cody Fajardo, would be in the running for the Rodney Dangerfield of the CFL. I think Fajardo more so, but if you in terms of no respect.
Right.
But they both have had a deeping help of disrespect from teams across the CFL. Nick, too, it just hasn't been as public.
Yeah, and fans, right?
Yeah, and fans, too. So you've convinced me that Hamilton will win.
Okay.
And then the Banjo Bowl, Bomber Boy writes in and says, I can't wait for the game of the year. Forget game of the week. He's saying game of the year. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, home to the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Banjo Bowl on Saturday. I think it's the 12th consecutive sellout for Winnipeg. The Bombers are favored by 1. Mm-hmm. Who wins, Carnes?
I believe it'll be close, and I think the Riders are going to win.
Homer. You're such a homer.
Do. Oh, thank you.
You're the worst homer in the league.
Yeah, I've heard that.
No, you're the best.
Thanks.
Wasn't that the line?
Yeah. Kelly McCrimmon.
Right. Well, to the Riders-Bombers game, I'm going to take the Bombers. I always go with the favorites. Like with the odds.
Yeah.
So Rod is beside Winnipeg. Carnes for Sask. And I get why you say it. Riders are rolling.
Yeah, and I think it's close. I think the game's going to be close. I think it'll be a physical battle. I think it's going to get dirty out there. I really do.
That particular game seems to always get dirty.
Yeah.
The Banjo Bowl.
Yeah.
You remember Darian Durant
got
rolled over in 2014 and was never the same again. I guess he did play again, but not for long. It does get dirty.
Yeah.
Is that the back-to-back part of it, do you think?
I think so. I think that's part of it. Yeah. I absolutely do. Maybe they shouldn't play back-to-back for player safety. But I'm really looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a fabulous game, and it's going to be close. And I think the Riders win.
What do you like about this Rough Riders team?
Trevor Harris, and I said the last time I was on the show, if Vernon Adams goes down, the Calgary Stampeders go nowhere. And I feel the same way about the Riders and Trevor Harris. I think that's his team, and I don't know that they go anywhere if he gets hurt, and I hope he doesn't. He's such a great leader and so much fun to watch. Precision passer, just a super CFL quarterback. So I love Trevor Harris, and I like my cousin Malik Carnie too.
I thought he was related to Mark Carney, the Prime Minister. He's related to you? That's a big family, the Carney family.
Actually, he spells it Carney. That's the Irish spelling, right?
Oh, is that right?
I'm IE. I'm the Scottish spelling.
Gotcha. Well, I'll make a bold prediction.
Sure.
With this defense that the Rough Riders boast, allowing 25 yards rushing as a team in the Labor Day Classic, Trevor Harris could get hurt, and they could still win a Grey Cup.
Okay.
Touch wood. We don't want that to happen, obviously, but I'm just saying this is a defense. And the odd thing, come on, Carnes, I'm watching the game, the Labor Day Classic, going, literally, who are these guys? And I say that as respectfully as I can, but Mario Anderson, Tommy kneeled.
Yeah, I know. Who are these guys? Right? Anderson scores 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kneeled, I love him. He's a horse.
He looked like Fantus.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, who are these guys? It could be, they were poised to go to 9-1 had they won in Calgary. It would have been the first time in 115 years of Rough Riders football that they'd been 9-1. And I'm like, I can't name 10 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that a me problem or a them problem? Probably a me problem.
Well, yeah, I get it. And there's in the CFL, there's a core of players that have been with teams for a while, but it used to be guys were with one team for 8, 10, their whole careers, especially in the CFL. That's really changed over the years. It's changed in all of professional sport, which is kind of tough. Like, you get used to your guys on your team, and then all of a sudden they're playing for the other team. It's troubling as a sports fan, but it's happening in the CFL now too.
Every league.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely, which we can maybe talk about in the next segment. But to wind this up and to recap, I've got the Bombers to win. The show's very popular in Winnipeg, by the way. I don't know why, but thank you. And Carnes has the Riders because he's the biggest homer in the province.
Sure.
And then Calgary at Edmonton on Saturday. I'm a little surprised. The line is this: Stampeders by 5.5. I'll remind you, they won the Labor Day game by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But they're only favored by 5.5 going into Edmonton. What do you think happens up there on Saturday?
I think Calgary kills them. I just don't think Edmonton's good. I really don't. I think Calgary's a good team. And they got a great quarterback, and they've got some great athletes on offense and on defense. And I think Calgary walks away with that one.
I got to take Calgary, too. Any smart money would be on the Calgary Stampeders. And I will be in the air. I'll be flying. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch any of these games. It's going to be a full day of travel. But football day in Canada, a triple header, everybody. Arlen Bruce is watching. Arlen Bruce III. He writes in and says, "Great morning, RP. I think the Cowboys will win by 6 tonight."
Oh.
Dak throws for 300.
Okay. I like that.
Don't you guys go breaking my heart and getting my hopes up here. Because I'm fully going in expecting the Eagles to win this by double digits, but that's just a broken-hearted Cowboys fan here. See why I don't bet on my team?
Yeah.
And you're lucky that you don't have a team. So then it doesn't cloud your betting.
No, a little with the Riders it does. When I'm betting on the CFL. Yeah, there's a way we get a little bit of cloud there. But other than that, no, it's like, no, I play a few long shots every Sunday in the NFL, and then I play a few, favorites and lose money like everybody else.
Twisted Mike writes in. He's watching in the Queen City. Twisted Mike says, "I think the Riders will win the Banjo Bowl. Would love to stick it in Winnipeg fans' pie hole.
Oh.
I think the Riders are going to walk in there and win. This is the first time the Riders actually have some depth at quarterback since Kent Austin and Tom Burgess. They have 3 good quarterbacks that can play, and Tommy Stevens is a stud." Okay, we're going to continue all of this plus some hockey when we return with the great Rod Carnie, the voice of Moose Jaw. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 Mission.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show continues live from Western Dodge and Moose Jaw. Get your questions and comments in. Rob Carnie with us, the voice of Moose Jaw with us, and for many years, the voice of the Warriors. Are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. We're going to come back around to other Week 1 NFL games with Carnes. Darren Dupont joining us in Hour 2 via video from Toronto. But I got a hockey note, Carnes. Hockey's still your number one, right?
Sure.
Yeah. This just came down today. Quebec City will host the 2027 Women's World Hockey Championship and co-host the 2029 World Juniors. Hockey Canada said today that Trois-Rivières, Quebec will share the World Juniors hosting duties with the Quebec capital for the annual holiday season tournament. Quebec City last held the World Juniors in 1978 when it co-hosted with Montreal. I think that is sensational news.
Me too. 78, hey? Wow.
I can't think like the World Juniors had to just be getting going at 1978, I would think.
Yeah, good for Quebec City. I mean, hockey is huge in Quebec City. I wish the Nordiques were still in Quebec City. Don't you?
I do, but I don't hold on to fantasies.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work now.
No.
I wish the CFL was in Halifax too, but that's not going to work either.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No. So, and that's what you see. I have Carnes stories written down here. So again, the World Junior is going to Quebec City in 2029 in Trois-Rivières. So I just want to walk this back for a second. Now we can talk about whatever we want right up until the top of the hour. That's the freedom of all this. Although I do have a sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone that I'm going to have to slide in, Carnes, at some point. You're a broadcaster. You get it.
Yeah.
But I remember Craig Button telling me as a young lad watching Wayne Gretzky in the World Juniors in the Forum in Montreal. And I don't remember the year. Somebody is watching right now could probably remember. And I think you're starting to realize why we are in the 55-plus age demographic, number one on the time slot across Canada because of stories like this. You know what I mean? But what like the earliest recollection of the World Juniors for me, I'm not joking, is Theron Fleury in the punch-up in Piestani. Is it yours too?
Yeah, that's like 86, 87.
Yeah.
Right? He and Mike Keane from the Moose Jaw Warriors were there. Yeah.
Okay,
and
talk,
before
because
that-
I got to look this up, okay?
Before that, I didn't really care about the World Juniors. Then I become a part of the broadcast crew for the Warriors, and Mike Keane and Theo Fleury are in the World Juniors with Team Canada, and that's when I really got into the World Juniors, which aren't the World Juniors are huge. It's huge in Canada. I mean, everybody looks forward to it, but in other countries, not as much, right? I think it's catching on in other countries, but still huge in Canada.
Okay, well, Carnes was asking me, by the way, as everybody is. They're like, when you go to television in Las Vegas beginning September 29th, are we going to be talking about this stuff? Here's the deal, everybody. Hour one of this show is going to be, like you always get, Canadian sports. Hour two will be U.S. sports. And it's a good thing because we as Canadians are used to watching U.S. sports. It's not going to affect anybody, right?
Sure.
But the Americans don't like this. But we love it.
We do.
So that's what we're going to keep talking about. That's the point on all this. So the World Juniors, I just looked it up. I went to the big board. 1974. That's my John Lynch.
I love
Ode to John Lynch. 1974. The very first one was in the Soviet Union.
Wow.
How many people know? I didn't know this.
Me neither.
And by the way, Russia won the first 3 golds. 1974 Soviet Union, number 7. 1975 Winnipeg, Brandon, Minneapolis, Bloomington, and Fargo hosted it in 1975. In 76, Soviets won it again. It was held in Finland. Tampere, Turku, Finland. And then they changed the format, but kept rolling. The Russians won it in 77, 78, 79, 80. But it was hosted in Quebec City, 1970. Oh, there, Montreal and Quebec City. That was the year that Gretzky was in it.
There it is.
Look at what you sorted out today, Carnes.
Way to go. I saw Wayne Gretzky play at the then Agrodome, which is now the Brandt Center.
With the Oilers?
In Regina. With the Oilers, when the St. Louis Blues had training camp in Regina. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there were 3 exhibition games. And my uncle Gilbert Carnie was running the security company that looked after Regina Exhibition Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he had these prime tickets in the front row of the upper deck at the Agrodome, and he said, I'm going to be busy. Do you want them? And I didn't have my driver's license yet. I said, yeah, Dad, we're going. And so, yeah, we saw the future of hockey there. We saw Winnipeg, Edmonton, and I think the Calgary Flames,
probably
came in and played the St. Louis Blues. That was my first exposure to live National Hockey League action.
I wonder, were the Flames in Calgary yet?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Daryl, speaking of Calgary, Daryl Slade's watching on Game Plus television. He's the Stampeders team historian. He writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, 1978 was the year Wayne Gretzky starred in the World Juniors. He had a hat trick in one game. I remember it well.
Way to go, Daryl.
Funny how he's the guy for that. Historian. And I'll say it again. His book about the 1948 Stampeders season, the Stampeders Special, is available in the Stampeders store. He shipped it to me here in Moose Jaw, and I read it, and I love it. It's so, if you love history, and I get the sense that you do too. We've been talking about it for an hour here.
Sports history.
Yeah, nothing else. Yeah, no, I'm good with no sports history, but Quebec City, how we got on this is for the first time since 1978 is going to be hosting the World Jays in 2029. So, yeah, as Carnes takes a slurp of his coffee. While we're sitting here, Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, writes in, he says, bring back Les Nordiques. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a little talk about this for a second. And you know what? It's a good time to do it with you here because I know the viewers love it. What I say, I don't chase fantasies. The CFL's not expanding. I wish they would, but they're not. The commissioner said it. So why do we keep talking about it? I don't like wasting time and energy on things that'll never happen. Okay?
I'd just like to have 5 teams in each division.
Well, what I would like to do is go to 12 teams. If you're going to do it, go to 12, because in the Western Canadian Baseball League, of which I work, and you said that you had a baseball story, I hope we can get to it next hour, but that's a legit league. 12 teams is legit.
Yeah.
Nobody says, oh, you're a penny ante little league with 12 teams. Nobody would ever say that. But with hockey, they say the NHL, I don't know what order, but they're going Atlanta, Houston, and who saw Salt Lake City coming? Who saw that? That came out of nowhere when it did happen. Quebec City is not going to happen, and for a variety of reasons, but the one I hear the most is the taxation situation in Quebec. Not only for the players, but for the owners. This will be on the owners. And they just feel there's no way that they could make money there having to give over 50% of your revenues to the government.
You say you'd like to see a 12-team league in the CFL. Where would the others be?
Well, for obviously Halifax and Quebec City, there's 2. You only
Okay.
need 1 more.
Okay.
And I just think, frankly, you got to bite the bullet at some time and say Saskatoon. They're going to have over 10,000 Friday night at Griffith Stadium. You put some end zone stands in there, all of a sudden you're up to 16, 17, 18,000. And why not? And we're going to say, oh, there's a rider town. Yes, but that didn't stop Ottawa, which was a Maple Leafs and Canadiens town, from putting the Senators there. That city's now split 3 ways.
Good point.
But it's worked.
Good point.
But were you?
Yeah, I'd love to see 2 teams in Saskatchewan.
Well, if you were to pick 3 cities, 3 markets, what would it be?
I think you got them.
It's not like I don't think about it. I just don't talk about it on here because it's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Fantasy. Right?
Well, yours and my good friend Kevin Waugh. You must have covered a few things.
Oh yeah,
with Wager, MP now to Saskatoon. He has talked about the population of that city is supposed to be 500,000 by 2035, which I'm afraid to tell you is creeping up. And it's like, will they have their new hockey arena by then? And could they have a CFL team by then? I don't know, because there's some of the critics of that say, 500,000, but half of that is immigrants that have not shown an interest in going to CFL games.
That's a good point.
Across this country. So what's going to make you say they're automatically going to go to the Saskatoon games? So that's not an automatic.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question.
Whatever you want.
How's life in Moose Jaw for you?
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Do you?
For reasons I'll say on the air and for reasons I'll tell you off the air.
Uh-huh.
I love it, Carnes, because it's still 1985 here.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
But it's a secret. Here's what I found. You guys don't talk about this. I didn't know how great it was all these years until I started living here.
Uh-huh.
It's got everything you want. It's beautiful. It's affordable. The people are nice. And again, there's things that I won't say on the air. It's like a Moose Jaw secret that you guys don't talk about that make it even better.
Yeah, I love it.
Have I nailed it?
I love it here. And you know why I've never left, right? Life is easy here. There's no traffic.
Nope.
I was on vacation late June, early July. Went and saw some friends and family in Calgary and played a couple of golf courses in Calgary and played out at the Sundry Club, where I've got a great buddy who's an assistant pro there. And then went to visit people in Calgary. And the traffic, I was just on edge the whole time.
It's tough.
The anxiety and Moose Jaw, if somebody honks at you, it's like, get away from me, buddy. Like I love life here. And Rosswell's Park, where you call the Miller Express baseball games in the Western Canadian Baseball League, is transforming into a music festival this weekend. Saturday.
Thanks for the plug. Yeah.
Homestand 25. It's going to be great. Street Hearts there. Canadian supergroup Took. Fred Penner, who everybody knows across North America.
The great Fred Penner.
Oh, I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. I feel like I'm his friend now. What a great guy. Like, he's just a super human being. And it's a family show, so Fred's going to get us going. And there's a group called the Steadies are going to be there.
I know the Steadies.
Oh,
they've been on this show. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Freddie, the lead singer.
Oh, the great band. So that's happening at Rosswell's Park. By the way, I called 3 baseball games in the old Prairie
We
League.
have 45 seconds.
Well, can I tell the story after our
Please
break?
do.
Okay.
Please do. Arlen Bruce, we'll get to your question. He says, hey, RP, great show as always. Serious question. Do you think the Super Bowl will ever be played in Canada? Hang on through the break. We'll get to all these questions, more Carn stories, and I thank God that today's show has gone exactly the way that I'd hoped with my good and longtime friend, Rob Carnie, the voice of the, not anymore, but the longtime voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. Those pesky Warriors. We'll be back live to Western Dodge right after this time out here on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 Mission Radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso. Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste. Savor. Share. Famoso. The spirit of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso. Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste. Savor. Share. Famoso. The spirit of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
And away we go, everybody. Live for those that are watching, as you can see, from Western Dodge and Moose Jaw. A little tear here. Last segment with Rob Carnie, the voice of Moose Jaw, the longtime voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. And he's got a few more stories he wants to get to. But let me rip off the quick six show topics. Can you believe we covered, like, not only all of them, but those and a few more, Carnes? Yeah, that's pretty good. I do love when we have a broadcaster on the air. I'm not going to lie. I love all of our guests, but when we have a broadcaster, the show's better.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
And I brought you tomatoes.
You did. I'm going to enjoy those very much. You're very proud of your garden, I can tell.
Yes, I am. Lots of tomatoes, lots of carrots this year.
You're very domesticated.
I am.
So the quick six show topics are this. Number one, the Blue Jays won last night at Cincy. They won the series. They got a day off today. They're going into New York this weekend, a huge series in the AL East. Number two, NFL kickoff tonight. Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles, and Carnes thinks the Cowboys will win. That would be an upset. I do not think they will win. Eagles are favored by 8.5, but hey, we got to be watching. We're all going to be watching no matter what. 6:20 p.m. Mountain kickoff, and we'll be hosting a watch party tonight at Pump Jacks Cathedral in Regina if you care to join us. CFL Week 14. Carnes and I made our picks for Pump Jacks. That was way back in hour one. Point four, the World Juniors is coming to Quebec City for the first time since 1978. They were announced this morning by Hockey Canada as the co-hosts along with Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And then point five is more NFL Week 1 games, and point six is the always popular randoms, which, quite frankly, you've been reading sports in this province for a long time, a sportscaster. Golf, tennis, what else goes on this time of year? I just can't be into everything, and for those sports, I'm not in them. We don't talk about them here.
Yeah, I watch golf a little bit on TV. I'm
Do
not
you?
a huge fan. I love playing golf. I've got probably a little over 50 rounds in this year so far. Not great. My handicap went from 20 to 12 to 14. So I'm, I can play with people and not hold them up. I want to tell you about this calling this baseball game.
Okay, he's got a story, ladies and gentlemen. Karn's got all his stories, or not all of them, but a few of them out. Okay.
I think about you in that warm broadcast booth calling those Miller Express games, Western Canadian Baseball League. It was 1995 or 96. We had the Prairie League of Professional Baseball here, right? We had the Regina Cyclones. We had the Moose Jaw Diamond Dogs. And my good friend, the colorful, abrasive one, Murray Brace.
The owner
of the Diamond Dogs. And at first I thought, who is this slicker? And I still think, who is
He's
this
a
slicker?
He's in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, by the way. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah. So, and we're in touch all the time. I've stayed with him down there.
Nice.
Great times. Anyway, the Aberdeen Pheasants are in the league, and they're coming to Moose Jaw to play a 3-game series on the weekend. And they're broadcasting their games on the radio, but they're not sending a broadcaster with the team. So they're calling around to the different cities and saying, who can call baseball games?
They're ahead of their time.
So Murray Brace says, Rob Carnie will call the baseball games. And I said, I've never called a baseball game. He said, well, you're going to. So I got in touch with the guys at the radio station in Aberdeen, and they said, I said, well, I'll call them, but not for free. They said, well, we can give you $25 American a game. I said, no. How about 150? Like, this is 1995, and that was out of their league, apparently. But they did. They paid me $150 a game.
Wow.
I really didn't know what I was doing calling baseball. I'd only called hockey before. But I had a great time. Anyway, I said to Murray, we got to get a dedicated line put in there, telephone line. Get Sastel in there. Yeah. I don't know who he got. It wasn't Sastel. Somebody went in there and fiddled with the telephone and plugged in to a line belonging to a lady who lived across the street.
Party line.
Yeah. So we're doing the first game. It was a Friday night. And we're in the middle of the baseball broadcast. And all of a sudden I hear somebody's on the phone making a call. Doot, 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 doot. And I said, hello. Like, this is a live broadcast. People in Aberdeen are listening. And this lady said, well, hello, what are you doing on my phone? I said, what are you doing on my phone? I said, listen, we're in the middle of a baseball game here. We're broadcasting a baseball game in Aberdeen. And could I ask you to just get off your phone? And she said, well, when can I use it?
Of course.
And just wait for the baseball game to end. And she said, okay, well, I'm right across the street. Okay, perfect. It was funny. Anyway, we finished the baseball game. She doesn't interrupt us again. About a year later, my dad, who's a widower, ends up going on a blind date with this woman named Glennis. And she starts telling this story to me. And I said, that was me. That was you?
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. This woman, we were on this woman's telephone line, Glennis's telephone line. And my dad ends up dating her.
Did they stay together?
Yes, they did.
There's a Rob Carney story for you, everybody. I told you he's got a million. By the way, Outlaw Communications, where creativity is a way of life, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. If you wanted to stay on track with some hardcore sports talk, you should have tuned in an hour ago, because now we're going to go off-roading a little bit. And Arlen Bruce III wrote in here at the end of hour 1. CFL great, 2-time Grey Cup champion from Olathe, Kansas. He's a Chiefs fan. He asked, will Canada ever host a Super Bowl? And AB, you're asking questions you already know the answers to. Rich Americans, which is who goes to Super Bowl, I've been at them, don't like the cold. And I'm going to tell you, 2 years ago in Las Vegas, it dipped down to single digits Celsius, and they were pissed off in Vegas. I was there. Single digits. They're like, this is Vegas. It's not supposed to be cold here. They're never going back to Vegas. Canada? It's a quick no, dog. I'm sorry. And you got to know that, AB. Like, you're literally throwing that out as something to talk about. But, yeah.
We've got 2 facilities that could, right?
It's not just about the game, though.
Yeah.
It's about the week.
I get it.
I mean, I've been now... Carnes and I are talking about our broadcast careers, and, I want to go out and do fun things. And I've been to a few Super Bowls now, and what I don't realize, like at Grey Cup, if you show up Wednesday for Grey Cup as a media person, you're largely sitting there twiddling your thumbs. In the NFL, if you're not there Monday, you're a loser. Because Monday night is what do they call it, opening night?
It's happening, right?
Monday, a week before the game. Okay, so that's not about being inside for the game. It's about cavorting, the partying. That's what Super Bowl is. And it is different than the Grey Cup. It's just so bloody big.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, man. The comments are going off like crazy. I apologize. Navy Don writes in from Ottawa. He says Minnesota was likely the last time the Super Bowl was played north of Oklahoma. No, it was when it was in New York. Unless Minnesota's been since that, but I don't remember Minnesota having when the Seahawks won, John Ryan, that was in New York, and that was another thing. All the rich Americans, sponsors, bitched about how cold it was all week long. So, yeah. Things go down at these points. It's not about the game. You know that, Carnes.
Yeah.
It's not about the game.
It's about the money. It's about the party.
It's funny because our good friend Tori Gurley, who comes on this show regularly, met his wife, Kim, who's from Strasbourg, Sask, went to school with James Gallo, met her at that Super Bowl in New York.
Wow.
At a party. Strasbourg gal at Super Bowl in New York. Yeah.
That's a legendary story.
Yes, I'm sure there's more to it. I don't know all the details of it.
I want to know.
Well, he walked up to her and gave her, he goes, "Can I have your phone?" And she says, "Why?" He goes, "I'm going to put my number in it."
Good move.
And the rest is history. That's the thing with Tori Gurley.
I'm going to try that.
Um,
At the Park Hotel, not the Super Bowl.
Ken in Mississauga writes in and he says, "That's an unbelievable story." He was, I think, referring to your baseball story and the party line. Yeah. I mean, it's, what did I say earlier about our demographic? We skew a little old, and I'm cool with that because we all understand. Like I did a sports banquet almost a year ago in Wolseley, and on the speaking docket was Bob Poley and Lorne Mullican and myself. And the organizer came up and said, "Just so you know, it's an older crowd in here tonight." I said, "Good.
Yeah.
They'll know who we are."
No kidding.
What other stories you got, Carnes? Because Darren Dupont's coming on in the next segment, and we'll get a little more serious, but this is my last chance with you this summer.
Well,
what do you got? Lorne Mullican story?
Oh, many.
Former head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks and the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Yeah, and a good friend. Just saw him earlier this year, actually at Robbie Trumbley's funeral,
right
in Lumsden, which is a sad day, but nice to see Mooner. The venue where you've been doing the show from in Moose Jaw for most of the summer, Golden Ticket Sports. It's used to be the Hillcrest Sports Center. So where you are in the gym there, that used to be the curling rink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Hillcrest Sports Center. So we had curling and golf. We got a new curling rink, so curling moved out. Golden Ticket Sports ended up taking over that facility. But it was a great facility. There were weddings in there. I mean, during the off season when the curling ice wasn't in. Saw Doug and the Slugs. CHAB brought in Doug and the Slugs for a charity concert one night. One of the best parties I've ever been to. One more story I'll tell you about that curling club. Back when the Amber Holland Rink won the Saskatchewan Junior Curling Championship. Curling's a thing. You have a send-off for them before they go to the Canadians.
Oh, yeah. They still do that, right?
Oh, yeah. And you have the bagpipes, and the girls are in their uniforms, and the Hillcrest Sports Center, under the direction then of President Whip Young. Whip, he worked at the post office. And Whip says, "We want you to MC this thing." And I said, "Okay, Whip, well, this is what I do for a living. What can you pay me?" He said, "Oh, no, we don't have any budget for that." He said, we can't pay you. We'll just do it for the team. Do it for the club. And I said, "Oh, boy, okay, Whip. Can you give me some lunch? Like, come on, dude. I'd give me $50, Whip." No, he's not hearing any of it. So I go and I MC this thing, and it's great. Great to see Amber Holland and the Street Girls and the Beach Girl, right? I can't remember her first name. But anyway, it was a wonderful event. The girls are in the uniform, and I'm introducing people and stuff, and I'm doing it for free, and that's okay. So I finish up, and Michelle Carleen, my friend, is the bagpiper, and everything wraps up. And Whip comes over and says, "Thanks for MCing, really appreciate it." And then he hands a $75 check to the bagpiper.
Nothing for you.
Nothing for me.
Welcome to broadcasting.
You gotta pay the piper. That's where it came from, right?
That's where it came from. See what we're learning here today? You got to pay the piper. Yeah, Carnes, you'll do it for free, but we'll pay the bagpiper $75.
Yeah, should have learned how to play the bagpipes.
That's why we got to have him on, Rob Carnie. Navy Dawn in Ottawa, I had to clarify this. This is on me. For whatever reason, I forgot. 2018 was that Super Bowl in in Minnesota. Philadelphia won it, beating the Patriots. So that was the last cold weather. So I shouldn't now. They're not coming to Canada anyways.
No.
Period. If anything, they would go to Mexico City or Brazil, where they're playing on Friday. But I got it. You don't even hear the Toronto people talking about the NFL in Toronto anymore. You didn't even hear it from them.
Yeah.
They've given up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Ryan in upstate New York says there would be another Super Bowl in Metro New York, New Jersey, but only if there was a retractable roof over MetLife Stadium. Neither the Maras nor the Johnsons will ever consider it, though. The owners of the local, well, not at this point, stage of the game. Arlen Bruce III staying with us. He says, bro, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles tonight, get ready for the Jerry Jones showdown. Banner night for the Eagles might get spoiled tonight. Obviously, I'm not an Eagles fan. LOL. That's from AB. Well, we talked about that off the top of the show, AB, that the Eagles players and coaches will not be coming out onto the field for the banner raising ceremony tonight. And, I mean, it's their right. But I was a little shocked when I read that this morning. Nick Sirianni, the coaches make all those decisions, right? I would think it would be Sirianni's call, saying, I don't want to be out there for that. They're going to stay in the locker room. Do you remember it? I don't remember that ever being a thing in any other team.
No. I can't remember that ever happening.
Is it disrespectful in a way?
I think it is. I think it's disrespectful to the fans, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should be a part of that.
That's one story on tonight's game. The Eagles will not be leaving their locker room tonight for the Super Bowl banner raising. The other thing is apparently they've instituted a fine system within their locker room if anybody uses the R word, i.e. repeat. And to be honest, this is where I get trapped in the, what do you say? Just, it's good for some people, not good for others. I'll guarantee you the owner's running around saying it.
Sure.
I'll guarantee you the owner's running around saying it. What is his name? Jeffrey Lurie, whatever it is. How do you feel about that? That they're fining you as a player if you mention repeat in Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Really. It's unbelievable.
While I have you here, do you have a Super Bowl pick? I feel like we didn't talk about that.
Oh, no.
Sorry to put you on a spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think Baltimore's going to be in the picture. I think Kansas City's going to be in the picture. Maybe Philadelphia again, too.
Well, the odds on Super Bowl favorites, 7-1 odds, is the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Jim Barker, if it'll help you, on Friday, or a couple Fridays ago, predicted a rematch, Eagles and Chiefs. I've got Buffalo, Detroit, and if that was the case, we'd have a first-time winner either way.
I like Detroit. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. I know they lost both coordinators, but I would think that that's a challenge for them. It's a big challenge to overcome, but I think that they can do it. Moose Dupont yesterday, who's joining us next, picked a Tampa Bay Cincinnati Super Bowl. That was like right off the board as far as I was concerned. But he's a big Baker Mayfield fan. Okay, we got less than a minute, Carnes. The floor is yours. As John Lynch would say, the last word. What do you got?
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here today, buddy. It really has. I always enjoy your show. I'm going to watch it this afternoon on Game Plus.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being so nice to me when I was a maniac all those years. Didn't even tell. 93, we're brawling the Warriors with the PA Raiders. Bench clears. Remember that?
Yeah.
Toporowski started it. He two-handed Ryan Smith right across. You came into my booth and just started going like this. Thanks for being so nice to me and so welcoming.
Yeah. I mean, fun, right? Sports is fun.
It should be, yes.
And sometimes, or not sometimes, quite often, we forget it's the entertainment industry. That's what sports is.
You know that. All right, Carnes, thank you so much. Moose Dupont coming in next here on Game Plus Television.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show, live from Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. By the way, collectors, listen up. Hockey cards, autographs, and fan memorabilia, all at Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. Don't wait. Shop ultimatefanzone.ca. Okay, we got the Moose, a sunburned Moose. Did you get a sunburn yesterday?
No, I'm not sure what's up with the color. It doesn't look like that on my screen, but
it looks good.
Little
Just
red
looks like
today.
you. It looks like you got a sunburn. You got your Super Bowl gear out. Okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, let me just, from the audience, Darren Moose Dupont joining us here from Toronto in this segment. Sanderson writes in and says, thank Moose for me and his advice yesterday. I ended up taking Jamar Chase with my number one pick in my fantasy draft last evening. So let's jump right into it, Moose. Are you in a fantasy league this year?
Yeah, I am. And I have Jamar Chase in one of my fantasy leagues.
Did you take him number one overall?
I did.
Okay. I always thought, okay, how much prep do you put into this? I mean, full disclosure, I'm sure the viewers know by now, I'm not a bettor. I haven't played fantasy football for a very long time. I would have thought Saquon Barkley would be the guy. How high should he reasonably be expected to go?
Yeah, he's going in the top 5 for sure.
Okay.
Some people might take him early. Oh, yeah, he's based on everything that he's done in last season. He's still going to be an extremely productive player. How much prep do you do? It depends. Some guys do a ton of prep. I would say a moderate amount of prep, but what even does that mean, right? You get an idea of what you're doing. All these draft sites, they rank players for you anyways. They have notes on all the guys. some of your favorite players. You want to, have a list and know where you might want to be able to draft some of your favorite guys. Like I'm always a sucker for Derrick Henry from his time playing with the Titans. So I kind of want to put him on my roster. And I have a couple other guys like that I'm excited about, rookies, et cetera. But for the most part, you can go into these fantasy drafts with no prep at all and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I am extremely left out amongst all of my friends. I'm like the only one that isn't into fantasy football, but guess what? I get over it. Here, Moose, it's a little different than your normal guest spot in hour one. We've already gone through all the quick six show topics, and you can imagine what they are. Number 2 was NFL kickoff tonight. The Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. I kicked this around with Rob Carnie. You may have seen it. The Eagles are not coming out of their locker room for the banner-raising ceremony tonight. Blah, blah, blah. But the Eagles are favored by 8.5. There are those, including Arlen Bruce, who is watching right now, that thinks the Cowboys will win tonight. And because it's my team, I have zero. I can't even think about it. What do you think is going to happen tonight at the Link?
I think this would be a great game. I heard you guys talking in the previous segment about the Eagles not coming out for the banner raising, and I don't like it. It is disrespectful. I understand it's kind of the Bill Belichick, like we're just worried about the game, we're not worried about the other stuff, but that is part of it. Your fans deserve it. Those players deserve it. It's part of it. You win one championship in your career, and you want to be able to enjoy the game, the celebration, the parade, the banner raising, the ring ceremony. All these things only happen once. Yes, there's teams going to win multiple championships and all the rest, but it's hard. You need to enjoy it. So I don't like that. Dallas is interesting. What do they look like? And, how many points do they need to score? Based on last season's season series, they're going to have to score more than 30 points if they want to beat Philadelphia in this opener tonight. So they're going to need Dak to be on top of his game. His new weapons need to be ready to go. So we'll see if they are tonight.
We appreciate all of the viewers, of course, but especially a 2-time Grey Cup champion in Arlen Bruce, who continues. He says, I'm a Chiefs fan over 20 years, but I think the Super Bowl this year will be Rams versus the Ravens. And you might have seen me saying last segment that you would pick the Buccaneers and the Bengals yesterday, which kind of off the board. I don't see them in any of the but again, that's what's fun about sports. I've got the Bills and the Lions. But our poll question today, brought to you by EMJ Marketing, is what is America's game of the week in the NFL? Is it tonight, Cowboys-Eagles, a classic NFC East clash, kickoff game? Is it Friday's matchup in Brazil, Chiefs-Chargers, which is a sexy little, I think, under-the-radar AFC West showdown? Or the Sunday nighter, a clash of AFC favorites, Bills, Ravens, or is it something I haven't even thought of? And just so you know, Darren, running away with the poll, it's Bills, Ravens, Buffalo, Baltimore, no surprise Sunday night. But what are you voting for the game of the week in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm going to vote Bills, Ravens for a couple of reasons. I like the games you picked. I'd almost say tonight. I want to vote tonight's game because it's the first one and it's a divisional rivalry and it's going to be great. But I'd hate for the game of the week to be over right away as we go into the weekend. And so it's nice that the game of the week can be the kind of the climax on Sunday after what's going to be a phenomenal day. So I'll go with the Bills and the Ravens.
Before we do move on from tonight's game, it was awesome working with Carnes here for the time that we did today, because it was like it just flowed real well, similarly to when you're on with me. It's two broadcasters chatting. And he talked about Micah Parsons and the absence of Micah Parsons on the Cowboys defense going into this game tonight and how guys are going to want to step up their game. There's this narrative coming out. Have you seen it? That the Cowboys locker room is glad that Parsons is gone and that he wasn't a popular guy in the locker room. And I'm like, no. Somebody's cooking that up. That happens all the time. And I subconsciously did that when I was the voice of the Riders forever. When a fan favorite left, we had to find a reason and to get fans over it and fast. Did we cook something up? No, but we would craft a narrative. And I feel like that's a crafted narrative that Micah Parsons was not a popular member of the Dallas Cowboys. Have you heard that at all, or is that just me because I follow the Cowboys so much?
A little bit, but only a little bit. And to be honest, I can see it. I can see it a little bit. And, Micah had his own podcast and did some different things like that. And when you have personalities that, are bigger than the team or are perceived to be bigger or think they're bigger than the team, that can rub some people the wrong way. It really can. And it's not good. It's not bad. And it just is. So I can see why some people might be happy the distraction's gone. When you're in that football environment, that team environment, it's kind of team above me, right? Is kind of the idea. So when you ever see anybody put me above team, then yeah, it can rub some people the wrong way.
902-518-3033, the number, the text line for Western Dodge. By the way, collectors, listen up. Hockey cards, autographs, and fan memorabilia, all at Ultimate Fan Zone. Check out their website at ultimatefanzone.ca. If you've got questions or comments for Moose and I, now would be the time to get them out as we have a fun Thursday discussion here on the RP Show. Eric in BC writes, and he says, RP, any reason why the NFL doesn't play international games in Canada? Is there an agreement between the two leagues? Well, they did for a long time. But again, refresh my memory, everybody. The Bills series, which I didn't even think about, but John Bender reminded us yesterday, the former Calgary Stampeder and Nevada Wolfpack offensive lineman, that they canceled the Bills series in Toronto because of lack of interest. That might answer your question right there. Although I feel like, there's a college game that's going to be played in Vancouver this year. The International Bowl is going to be played at BC Place. But my guess, it's the NFL, Darren. I think people in Canada don't understand. It's like George Strait, okay? In the 1980s, didn't sell any tickets. They used to do 2 shows when they came through. 2 shows. George Strait barely sold any tickets in Canada in 1986. Now, I was there in row 8, but he's like, I'm not coming back to Canada. If I can't sell out 2 shows in Regina, George Strait in 1986, I'm not coming back. The NFL has the same thinking. That's my parallel on that.
Yeah, and it's markets too, right? I mean, we don't have the largest markets in Canada. I think the Bills thing, and again, I was so far away from that I wasn't anywhere near it, but feels like that was an initiative from the Bills more than like NFL. And I think the question, NFL international games, right? You think about the marquee Ireland and Germany and going to these, international venues. Yeah, they could do international in Canada, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel international, even though it is. The Bills tried it, didn't really work. Where else would they go? They'd go to Toronto, maybe Montreal or Vancouver for an international game, but they're trying to go after those big markets overseas and really contemplate maybe expansion over there.
I appreciate Rich in Edmonton, by the way, for chiming in a few days ago that they are indeed renovating Olympic Stadium in Montreal. I was unaware of that. I guess they're actively renovating Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And why wouldn't you? I mean, the place has great bones. I've broadcast games out of there. Clearly, the thinking is bringing back a Major League Baseball team, which is a topic for another time. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and he says, the Sky Dome was a lousy stadium for football. Ken from Mississauga writes in, he says, that Bills series, from memory, the Bills were awful and pricing for preseason games was astronomical. Also, welcome to the NFL, because now every team's doing it. And I do distinctly remember at the time, because that was 20 years ago, that our head coach, I was doing hockey then, was Curtis Hunt. And we were talking about this. And I said, he's like, why are they not selling tickets in Toronto? I said, because the Bills suck and they want a winner. And he goes, get in line. I think I've told you that. Hunt, get in line. Everybody wants a winner. You're not going to go because the Bills suck. That's NFL stadiums are filled for even the lousy teams. Every state. I think we've just explained it. If you're not going to sell out, we're not coming back. That's the NFL's attitude. Hey, 902-518-3033. What else is on your mind, Moose, on this Thursday?
Yeah, well, you got to go around the horn, right? When those, if you're not selling out, we're not going to come back. We're going to go to other places first, and you got to let that market reset and everything else before you come back. So that's really interesting. Look, you said what's on my mind? Tennis is on my mind.
Sure.
Felix is into the semifinal at the U.S. Open. I've never seen this kid play so well. He's got to play Jannik Sinner, the number 1 seed tomorrow, which will be tough. But he's playing really well, and good to see him doing well at a major.
This is the U.S. Open?
It is.
Hey, that's not bad.
No,
that I at
good.
least knew that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just ensconced. Sometimes I wonder how people have the space within their cranium to watch all this stuff and follow it, because I simply do not. Maybe I'm just a simpleton. But that's why I was thinking about this international series. Why did it strike me that there was a game in Vancouver coming up, but it's a college football game. It's not the NFL. So, okay. Thank you for straightening out the thing. 902-518-3033. What do we have here? Tony in Cochrane, Alberta writes in. He says, way before computers and emails, everyone had to phone in their picks. And we got to chat everything NFL to everyone weekly. The good old days. Well, Tony, you're going way, way back. You're smiling on that story, Darren. Do you have thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, that stuff's fun. But just how things change and how the games have changed, and even, this weekend. I mean, every game available, so readily available when it comes to the NFL this weekend. Yeah, it's going to be fun. College is on. I'm going to call a game on Friday. This is one of the reasons why I love the fall, and we have that argument about what season's better, the fall or the spring. Hockey's not on yet, though. You kind of got to wait till hockey's on, and you get a little overlap with hockey, baseball. Then it'd be good.
Well, here's where the junior hockey enthusiasts would be upset, and I'll just say this: it's like NFL Canada sending out their news release or the email that I got from NFL Canada saying football's back. Today, when I opened up my inbox, I'm like, oh, you dirty buggers, completely ignoring the CFL. But that's just, I don't operate in that mindset. I understand that's business. We hate our competition, blah, 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 blah. But Ryan in upstate New York, before we move on, writes in, he says, I could see the Seahawks playing a game in Vancouver. Seahawks fans travel well, and I believe Vancouver is their designated NFL global market. The question would be, and number one, let's remember, I don't think they're talking about going there. But number two, would the BC Lions open their doors to the Seattle Seahawks? Because let's not forget, however many years ago it was, I want to say 2021, the Oakland Raiders and Green Bay, it was still the Oakland Raiders and Green Bay Packers were to play a preseason game in Saskatchewan, and the Rough Riders barred it and wouldn't allow it. So they ended up hastily moving the game to Winnipeg, and it was a complete disaster. So I wonder if the BC Lions would even welcome them to BC Place. I know they don't own the stadium, but you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, you and I are both, we talked about this yesterday, junior hockey fans. We worked in it, and most people in the game of hockey came up through junior. And I got you haven't been out in Western Canada for a while, but you're coming out this weekend. You're going to see that people out here are complaining about the lack of coverage, period, of junior hockey. And I'm sitting there, and I'll be honest, they got to be older guys and gals, I'm thinking. But last night there was a preseason game in Swift Current, and I just happened to be on my phone this morning, and I saw, it was either last night or this morning, and I saw a goal by the next Sidney Crosby of the Regina Pats, who was on Instagram. And I'm just sitting there going, well, who needs the supper news or the 11 o'clock news, or who needs the newspaper for a photo of it? It's there on Instagram. And that's just junior hockey. That's to say nothing of the NFL, MLB, NHL. So I'm saying it is playing, and you don't have to look too far to find it, but to look in different places. And how much time do you spend thinking about that? You are a media guy. I spend way too much time thinking about it, but I do.
I'm a big fan of more, and having more outlets covering it is better. And you can always, let's say if you're the Regina Pats, you can put out your highlights to your fans and all the rest, but it means more when somebody else puts your highlights out. It's validation. When a network, TSN, puts out a highlight, everybody goes, ooh, and they're putting a Western Hockey League highlight out, or Sportsnet or whoever, right? Or you or me putting a highlight out means more than the Regina Pats putting out a highlight. Of course, you're going to put a highlight out of your own team, right? And be happy. Problem is, all that stuff, when it's put out on social media, is free. The platform is free to use, and anybody can do it, which means nobody's getting paid to do that, which means how do you hire somebody to actually do it reliably on a day-to-day basis when it's free and not getting paid? It's hard.
And welcome to the rub of the media business in 2025. Allie in Texarkana writes in, she says, hi, Moose. I told you, Darren, you're very popular amongst our viewership. That shouldn't surprise you at all. Laverne in Swift Current writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, how does Moose see the Blue Jays faring up in New York against the Yankees this weekend?
Yeah, they'll be fine. The Jays have had the Yankees number this year. They're playing really well. The bats are going. They'll be good. It's all, for me, a question of what they're going to do with the bullpen, what they're going to do at closer. I've heard, Jose Barrios' name mentioned as potentially moving into the bullpen or becoming a closer. They'll do something. Maybe not yet, because you still need the arms down the stretch. But when you tighten up that starting rotation to 4 pitchers maybe for the playoffs, you'll move some of those guys into the bullpen.
I love the way the Blue Jays are captivating the country, which they always do when they win. You were just out in St. John's, Newfoundland. Were you so buried and ensconced with the Jouk Canada games that you didn't really talk to people? I know you're out in the town a little bit. Did the Blue Jays have an imprint out there all the way in Newfoundland?
They do, for sure. People are wearing the gear. You see it everywhere now. And you're right. It's all about them being good. The better they play, the more people are into it, the more people are proud to wear the gear. The games are on the TVs. The highlights are on. You go into the hotel lobby bar or, down George Street, the games are on. So that's really good. Everybody's excited.
What's it like in Toronto right now?
It's a buzz. It's a buzz for sure. I think still people are cautiously optimistic and nervous because they've seen this before a little bit. But everybody's excited and hoping for a good spring or a good fall.
Well, I'll tell you, this has gone by very fast. What is your sports watching weekend going to take up as we have a minute left in the segment?
Yeah, I'm going to watch tonight for sure. Tomorrow will be U.S. Open, and then my game, obviously, I'll be buried in calling that. College football Saturday, and then NFL Sunday. It's going to be quite a weekend. I probably won't watch a lot of baseball this weekend, though.
Tee up real quick, your broadcast tomorrow night.
UBC's got a quarterback, Drew Viotto. He was a recruit to Minnesota, Power 5 school, didn't play.
Quickly.
Now he's at UBC against the number 1 team in the conference.
You got it on Canada West TV and available here on this cable package.
You got it.
All right. Safe travels, Moose. Really appreciate you coming on.
See ya.
Darren Moose Dupont from Toronto coming to the homeland to broadcast university football this weekend, UBC at Saskatchewan Huskies. Get your comments in, everybody. Just me and you the rest of the way after this.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw. I had to take my glasses off because, for whatever reason, there's just a glare off my computer screens here, so I can do it both ways. I'm multi-talented. As I say, it's just you and me. Let's call it viewer takeover the rest of the way. And I do got to get into a sports update here, and I could sit and read some very interesting sports stories the rest of the way to the top of the hour, but I would rather hear from you. PJ Starlissimo writes in. He's found us on Twitter regarding the Dallas Cowboys game at the Eagles tonight and how there's this narrative coming out of Dallas that Micah Parsons wasn't that popular and that the players, his former teammates in Dallas, were happy to see him go. And I said, I don't buy that. I've watched all the Cowboys games. I am almost a lifelong Cowboys fan. I know what goes down there. I don't buy it. Somebody's stirring this up in Dallas to back their reasons for trading him. PJ Starlissimo writes in on Twitter, and he says, you are 100% correct about narratives being shaped to create public relations optics. Here we see the Florida Marlins president from their World Series team admit all teams screw players' images when it creates an advantage. It was on McAfee. And that's where I'm going to sit here and just tell you the way that it is. That's why you're all watching, right? Because there's no other show like this on television. It doesn't matter what the league is. The concepts are all the same. It doesn't matter what the sport is. Everybody does it. It just seems to be in places like Dallas or Saskatchewan with the Rough Riders, or say the Yankees, any of those iconic big teams. I'm drawing the parallels here. And I put the Cowboys in that, even though they haven't been around for 100 years, like those other teams I just said. It seems to happen there, because I think about the Florida Panthers, which within a week's time I'll be covering them, and they don't create these narratives there, but in certain places they do. And it's tough. If I wanted to pinpoint who's doing it, it's probably not Jerry Jones in Dallas, but it's somebody in that front office who's picking up the phone and calling the NFL Network guys and saying, hey, put this out there, because that's how it works. And one of the things that I hated the most, because I loved being the voice of a team for decades. It was amazing. And when I left it, the only thing I was really worried about what was going to change was my relationships with the people in the game. But not only did they not change, they actually got better, because you know why? I started to hear from the players and coaches from other teams, not just my own team. But if I got to go back to my Rough Rider stories, because that was my team. When we, got rid of Reggie Hunt, or, that was an ugly situation when he left after we won the Grey Cup in 2007. He went to Montreal, or I didn't really like the head coach, Corey Chamberlain, that much, but it's when at the time, we're good now. It's tough when you work with somebody and you're in the trenches every day, which we are. But Reggie Hunt was the guy that tried to get on my radio show to tell his side of the story. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Reaper, I can't do that. I would love to do that, but you're going to come on the air and make the team look bad and spill all this dirty laundry. I just can't do that as the voice of the team. Now here, the players, if they want a platform, they can do it. And we haven't done that in a while. It's been a while. But to allow the players to tell their side of the story is something that what this show was born on. I just feel like we haven't had a scandal worthy of having somebody tell the story for a while. PJ Starlissimo continues, by the way, regarding Rob Carnie, who was with us last hour, the legendary voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. PJ writes in and he says, Rob Carnie looks fantastic. He looks like Vince Lombardi and Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner in JFK. Let's point that out. 902-518-3033. Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, hey, Rod, father, question for Heel Moose. Should I wait for another week to jump on the Jays bandwagon? I don't want long-term commitment, but some fall thrills, baby. Signed, Vintage Sasko. I feel like it's safe to climb on the Blue Jays bandwagon right now because they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. And it should be fun. But nobody's going to hold you to that if you want to wait a little while. I'm on the Blue Jays bandwagon. I think it's funny that somebody wrote in here weeks ago and said, you guys are a bandwagon Blue Jays show. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. When the Blue Jays are winning, we're going to watch the games or we're going to talk about them. Otherwise, we'll stick over here to CFL, NFL, NHL, because that's more our jam. Overtime is next, and we will get to the long-promised sports update right after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Welcome back, everybody, for Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Longtime partners of the RP Show. We're so proud of our relationship with Overtime Hockey Lanes. I hope you've checked it out. If you haven't, get down there, 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. It's where skill and fun collide. And by the way, there may be an Overtime Hockey Lanes coming to a city near you. Stay tuned. It's growing that fast. Popularity. It is Canada, after all. Ron writes in on the Western Dodge text line. Speaking of Calgary, he's in Calgary. He says, great show, Rod. Just sitting and enjoying the show. I appreciate you doing that and writing in and saying nice things. To be honest, I turned on the NFL Network the other night, and I just sat back. Same thing. This makes my heart feel good. Watching this show with Mooch and Kurt Warner and the gang. I hope if you watch this show, it makes you feel good. That's really my goal here with what we do on the RP Show. So thank you, Ron in Calgary. The aforementioned sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone. The Toronto Blue Jays are off today after slugging their way to a 13-9 win Wednesday night over the Cincinnati Reds. Kevin Gausman gets the start Friday when the Jays open a 3-game road series against the New York Yankees. Toronto leads the AL East by 3.5 over New York. Well, depending how things go this weekend, it could really tighten things up. Moose said it earlier. The Blue Jays have had their way with the Yankees this year. We'll see what happens this weekend. And for vintage Sasko, who's worried about, what are you worried about jumping on the bandwagon? What are you worried? Jump on it. You're worried about getting hurt? Don't be that guy. Jump in. The NFL is back, baby. The 2025 season kicks off tonight with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles will unveil their championship banner before the game, but the players and coaches will not be on the field for it. Carnes says it's disrespectful. I agree. Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 in February's title matchup in New Orleans. And by the way, the poll question today has those teams in it. The question is, what's America's game of the week in the NFL? Is it tonight's game? Is it Friday's game, Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil? Is it the Sunday nighter, Bills and Ravens? Or is it a game that we haven't even thought of? And running away with the poll is that AFC heavyweight showdown Sunday night, Baltimore at Buffalo. This one's got people talking, which interests me. The LA Clippers of the NBA strongly deny breaking any league rules with Kawhi Leonard's contract. The NBA says it is investigating whether a $28 million endorsement deal between Leonard and a California sustainability company was used to get around the salary cap. That company is owned by the owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer. And that's just skimming there's a lot more to it than this. Pablo Torres of ESPN broke this story. He's like the investigative reporter of ESPN. And if you watch Pardon the Interruption, which I do every day, he's on there quite a bit. All I will say is Pablo Torres has been wrong before. And if you want to know instances, I can give them to you. But for whatever reason, he's the ESPN Rick Westhead in a lot of ways, unearthing the dirty stories that nobody wants to talk about. He is not always right. You know what? We're not all right. But with an accusation like that, you better be right. News from the hockey world. Quebec City will host the 2027 Women's World Hockey Championship and co-host the 2029 World Juniors. Hockey Canada said today that Trois-Rivières, Quebec will share the World Jays hosting duties with the Quebec capital for the annual holiday season tournament. Quebec City last held the World Juniors in 1978 when it co-hosted with Montreal. The sports update is brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone Moose Jaw. Dress like a fan, not a spectator. Ultimate Fan Zone Moose Jaw has everything you need. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Start shopping now at ultimatefanzone.ca, and I will be with their owner, Billy, later on tonight for our NFL kickoff party at Pump Jacks Cathedral in the Queen City. That's the one thing about Ultimate Fan Zone. If you are anywhere around southern Saskatchewan, Ultimate Fan Zone is the place you want to go. It is directly across from the exit of the Tunnels of Moose Jaw tourist attraction, which is great for them. Billy told me that. And I don't know. I like a store that you can go in and try on a hat, try on a jacket, So many you can't do that anymore. You can at Ultimate Fan Zone. Daniel writes in on a topic brought up by Arlen Bruce earlier. He said, will Canada ever host a Super Bowl? Art Daniel writes in and he says, the Big O in Montreal, when refurbished, could hold a Super Bowl. It's not happening, guys. I mean, we could quote Gary Echeverry if we wanted, the legendary CFL coach, and say, never's a long time. It's not coming to Canada. They're not even playing regular season games in Canada. They're not even playing preseason games in Canada. You talk about bringing the Super Bowl to Canada in stadiums that aren't anywhere near as big as the NFL stadiums now. It's not happening. Bomber Boy writes in and he says, I love that the only NBA coverage Rod entertains is the scandals. And even then, because if we sat here and talked about the NBA scandals, 2 hours wouldn't be enough time. It just happened to come up in the sports update. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, I'm looking forward to Football Friday, but for the record, I'm still not a fan of CFL triple headers. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think you've just stumbled upon the poll question for tomorrow's program. Are you a fan of CFL triple headers? I mean, I'm not. But the NFL does it every Sunday, and nobody bitches about it. I have a tough time. As a matter of fact, I won't sit on the couch watching 6 hours of football or 6 hours of anything, let alone 9. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either. We all potato. I love the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule, and a whole lot of guys don't. We've had that debate. So, you know what? A little bit of everything doesn't hurt. That's what we do here, and people seem to like it. Thank you, Producer Corey. Thank you to Carnes. Thanks to the Moose. We'll see you all tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here on Game Plus.
Now I'm the whore and the pimp. That's where the money is.
How about that?